Good afternoon. It's actually 12:50 at the moment. We are going to Jensen. This tire came completely off that poor truck. No cell reception, so you can't call nobody. Going to Jensen, Utah to pick up a load to take it to Las Vegas to swap it out with another trailer. And I think a Harbor Freight in Longmont, Colorado. 4 p.m., 1600 delivery, which makes it a live 3-hour unload. Like our dropping hooks. They both pay the same amount. Only one you're there 20 minutes, the other one you're there for 3 to 4 hours. 2 to 4 actually. More at the 3-hour range. We are at 139 Douglas Pass in the summer. Summertime, 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 summertime. They had this highway closed for a while for fire. And we just clipped that bird. So on July 3rd, I left Grand Junction and went to Coors Brewery in Golden, Colorado from Grand Junction. And was making a U-turn to head back to, or had to go to Nevada, not Utah, sorry, to meet another truck driver in Utah and swap trailers with him. Give him the beer, he'd give me a Harbor Freight load going to Montrose. Well, I sat there for an hour at the Coors lot. You used to be able to just go right in and they check your trailer and boom. Now there's like 2 lanes of 15 trucks each. You gotta sit there and wait just for them to say, okay, go ahead and park it over here. They do look at your trailer real quick, but they give you a sheet. You turn that in. It tells them where you parked the trailer. So that took an hour. Now I'm 79.9, heavy AF, and we got all the 4th of July traffic leaving Denver. So we got miles and miles of purple traffic. Stop and go, stop and go. And I was like, well, looks like I will be using my traffic mode, 16-hour. The way that works, you have to have hours left on your 70. And if you don't have hours left of your 70, you can't use it. Like the other day, I got to Mac, Colorado, exit 11. I needed to get to my exit, which was 26, 15 miles away, and my 70 ran out. in between Mac, Colorado and my exit was a scale house, mile marker 13. Well, I was like trying to get home, but my load was so heavy it didn't allow me to get there in enough time to do my 34-hour break. So instead of sitting there on the highway for 34 hours, I went PC home. I went right through the scale. I was going to tell them, well, if you're going to write me up, I guess write me up, but I'm just going home. I'm not furthering the load anymore. Well, I guess it sort of is by 15 miles, but I'm going home to do a 34-hour break, so I did that. I'll find out, I guess, if I get in trouble for that or not. But I thought, I go, oh, well, and I did have traffic earlier in the week, and that's why I was going to use that 16-hour rule, but I found out I didn't have any left in my 70, so I couldn't use it. So anyway, I get through all that traffic, we're cruising right along, and then I see a sign. I'm westbound, trying to get to Utah. I see a sign that says I-70 closed. So I get off at mile marker 157, which is highway 131, northbound to Steamboat Springs, catch Highway 40, go to Craig. Come on, Craig. And then go down to Highway 13, go through Meeker and Rifle, get back on the interstate. Because it was closed in the canyon. Well, I pulled off over there at 157 and I look up Colorado's website. It says closed for flash flood warning. I can look to the west and see the big black cloud over the canyon. So I'm like, oh, they're going to shut it down in case, because they had that Grizzly Creek fire there last year. And so it got, I debated for a few minutes, and I'm like, well, they're going to reopen it because it's for a flash flood warning. And they're going to see that nothing happened, or if it did, whatever, we'll go from there. I'm like, okay, so we should be okay. So I go over there and get in line, mile marker 133, the Dot Cerro. And by that time, they're like, oh, there's a flash flood. There was a mudslide about a mile over there by the canyon entrance. And so who knows when they could be open. It could be an hour, it could be tomorrow. I was like, shoot. So it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I parked there, my time just keeps going away on the Obama clock, and I'm like, well, it'll come back at 4 a.m. If I have to go back to 157 Steamboat Craig Rifle, I can do that. So I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I go talk to the DOT guy there at the freeway entrance. Have you heard anything? Anything at all? These trucks have been running all night? Yeah, but you haven't heard nothing? No. I'm like, okay. Now I have a decision to make. Do I sit for another 12 hours, or do I go the 4 hours out of my way, 3.5 actually, to continue this load? I got to keep rolling. So I opt to take the highway northbound. And mind you, I'm heavy with beer. So I get up and over, and I come down, I get reception again. Basically, there's no reception between Craig and Rifle, Colorado on 13. A little tiny spot here and there, but no, you really don't have much. So I get down there to rifle, pull over and check, and it's highway's open westbound. Like, what the heck? And I didn't see a whole lot of traffic, but I did. There just wasn't a bunch of it. Of course, it was early in the morning. So I go, I must be still closed because I still see highway trucks like mine, OTR trucks, still going north on the 113 or the 13. And so I get down there and I look and it's open westbound. So I look to find out when it was opened. It was opened at 5:03. I left at 4. Man, I was so upset because if I would have waited an hour. But see, they don't tell you anything. It would be nice if they told you something. You know, well, they're getting so far. It's, you know. I can tell you it's probably going to be a couple, 3 or 4 more hours. Could be another hour or two. You know, if they would get some kind of updates, but they don't give you nothing. They don't say anything. So I got screwed on that. But I guess I did and I didn't, because then I was able to, the guy that was going to bring it, he's like, oh, I'm having a barbecue at 5 o'clock and I'm not getting back here at 4. I'll just wait till tomorrow. I go, that's fine with me. I talked to the dispatcher. I go, can they get their load tomorrow instead of, they were actually going to take it on the 4th of July, the Harbor Freight in Montrose. I'm like, yeah, that's fine, just bring it tomorrow. So it worked out good for me. I was able to spend the 4th of July with my kids and grandkids, so that was kind of fun. A little camp right there. And next morning I took off and I got a hold of the guy from Vegas. Like, yo, you rolling? No response. And I'm like, well, I got to keep rolling. It was July 5th, Monday. Oops. I got to keep rolling. So I got to get rolling, I should say. So I go ahead and get trucking down the highway, and finally I get a call. I left at 7. I get a call at 8 o'clock from the guy from Vegas, and he's like, yeah, I've already left, and you know, I can meet you there in Salinas. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Or when I get to Salinas, I'll call you and find out where you're at. That way, if I have to drive down further, I can do that. This road's so much smoother when there's snowpack on it. So I get to Salinas, I call him 4 times. No response. No response. And I sit there for an hour at the Loves. I'm like, well, this is where we said we would meet, and if I go and take off and I can't, he's not answering his phone, I better just stay right here. So finally he calls me after an hour and says, hey, I'm on 70. Let's meet over at that Pilot truck stop. I got to get fuel at exit 40. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I'm over here at 56 or whatever it is, 57. Let's do that. So I get over there. And that's an hour and a half now that I've been there. And I was like, well, that's 40 miles. He said he was already on 70. It's 50 minutes since I had that phone call. So now we're looking at 2 hours since I've been here. And I get a message from Dan, the dispatcher. It's his time off. Any ETA on the Montrose load. And I'm like, man, I can't get a hold of this guy. This guy said He was already on 70. I'm at mile marker 40, so that's 40 miles from the Interstate 15. And that was 50 minutes ago. So I don't know what's going on. Apparently he was still 20 miles south of 70 when he said he was on 70. It's like, that really bothers me. Just like, be straight up and tell me where you're at, so I have a clear understanding of what's going on. I got this little game playing runaround. And anyway, he finally shows up at like 60 minutes after he called me. I'm already separated, and I'm ready to rock and roll. I gotta turn around and go back to Colorado, and then head down to Montrose. So he's like, "Oh, well, you should be okay. You'll be there like 4 o'clock, right?" And I go, "No, 6 o'clock." What? I go, "Yeah, dude, it's a ways over there, you know." And don't panic there, partner. You got it. Nope, so this is where I spin out. I just did it again on dry pavement. Right there at that spot, I spin out a little bit on when no chains, when chains are required, with chains when chains are required, and dry pavement when chains are not required. And we're empty, by the way. Got the axle slid pert near all the way up. So anyway, I give the dispatch Dan the man. I'm like, you know, between 5 and 6, they close at 8. He's like, okay. I get to Grand Junction, I call them, the store, and I'm like, you guys gonna take this load today? So I'm not coming down there if you're not gonna take it. Wait till tomorrow. I go, we'll be here till 8, so we could be here by 7. I go, I'll probably be there about 5:30-ish. And I showed right up at 5:30. And free Roman cattle. And so, I got it swapped out. Everything ended up okay, but it was quite the journey to get that load to them. But we got her done, and I got to hang out with 4th of July for a little bit. So then I went back to Grand Junction, stayed at the house. I was Monday, and then I deadheaded, which means empty, no load. So I was empty from Grand Junction to Vegas, where I dropped my empty trailer at a recycling outfit. And then I picked up a tire load going to Salt Lake City. And I showed up there, appointment time was 2 o'clock, I showed up at 1:30. The guy goes, go ahead and back in the door 23, we'll get you at 2 o'clock. I'm like, okay. I carry a 4-inch battery-operated cut-off saw grinder with a cut-off wheel, 4.5 inch. And a lot of times they give you a pair of bolt cutters to cut the bolt off. So I use a bolt seal, and I use my grinder with a cut-off wheel on it and just cut her off at the pass. Speaking of the pass, we're on the Douglas Pass. And this pass is fun in the wintertime. If you haven't seen them, you can look them up. I've got a couple of videos. I did this in the wintertime. So then Luann Denver dispatcher. She gives me a load at West Jordan Valley, Utah to Grand Junction, Coca-Cola to Coca-Cola. I'm like, sweet. But it's the same appointment time, 2 o'clock, as my delivery, as my pickup. So she unassigned me from that. A little bit of a drop off right there. And there's their weather station right here at the top. So she unassigned me from that. I'll have to look that up. They got a camera right there. It'd be nice to be able to see. I wonder where that dirt road goes. Oh, I guess it goes those antennas up there further. So she unassigns me from it. I'm thinking, oh, well, it's the same appointment time. No wonder why. Then she reassigns me 4 o'clock load. So I was like, perfect. Same thing, same place. Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola. Then she unassigns me from that one too. Now I give her a call. I'm like, what is going on? She goes, yeah, the consignee, which is the Coca-Cola where it's going to, canceled the order. I'm like, okay. I go, you be able to get me loaded up on something else? Oh, today? She goes, I don't know, but by tomorrow. And I'm like, well, I'm going to be early. Hopefully they get me done early. And they actually got me done at 4 o'clock. 2 hours to unload the tires. And before they were done, she sent me another load. I'm like, nice, I got a load. It's the same thing, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola. So it worked out really good. I was able to go from Grand Junction to Vegas, Vegas to Beaver, Utah, spend the night, go to Salt Lake City, West Jordan Valley, and then to Grand Junction. Had a half hour left over. And so we unloaded that this morning at 11 o'clock. And now we're going over here to Jensen to, I assume, pick up hay. Probably going to go to China. So I didn't see any fire here. I think it's down closer to Rangeley. Definitely nothing on the pass. So then hanging out with my grandkids, they were all sick. Like a cough, some kind of cold-like symptoms, not the flu. And my granddaughter Mila was we got an L couch downstairs. Actually, it's more U-shaped. I was laying on one side, she was laying on the other, and we were kind of like head to head. She kept coughing, and I go, "Hey, you need to cover your face when you cough. Cover your mouth." She did that, but I got nailed a few times, so I think I got a little something from her. Not enough to put me out of work, but enough to irritate me a bit. Move. Yeah, they heard me, huh? This is what one cow said to the other cow. Move. So I've been running like 70 hours in 6 1/4 days. I mean, it's like bam, 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 bam. And that's the way I like it. But like 1 week I got back to, I managed to get at the house both times. The week before, by the time I went to log out of my Obama log, I had 1 minute left of my 70-hour work week. In 6 1/4 days. Oh, squirrel, better move it, better move it. I wonder if they're going to do some construction. That road needs it, for sure. But yeah, I've been running really, really hard. I went out to like Columbia, Missouri. I don't know if I did filming on that or not. I've done a little bit of filming, but I haven't edited anything. Need to get them back up and running, but I mean, literally, I'd like work all day long, park it, go to bed, get up, work all day long, boom, 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 and knocking out some major miles. But not leaving anything time for anything else. But we were able to get a little bit of 4th of July party in. While it's working, so that turned out okay. Looks like a rough spot right here. Yes, sirree, Bob. See some smoke off in the distance over there. See that? Almost looks like a little dust devil. I bet that's fire. They said there was a fire over here, but I never saw any smoke. But that's looking from I-70 side, which is the other side of Douglas Pass, so we're not going to see anything, obviously. Kick our speed up a bit. When we get over to that fire area, I'll show it to you if it's highway accessible. So we'll call this video good for now. It's been running a minute. Give you a quick rundown of my crazy week. It gets kind of crappy at times, but you just roll with the punches. All you can do. You can't get upset. Ain't gonna change nothing. I was talking to a driver and I thought it was kind of funny. He's making 38 cents a mile. Quality pays me 68 cents a mile. It's almost double what he's making. But he is a rookie. And he told me his license was, I go, do you have all your endorsements? I go, yeah. Or no, he said, no, I have a restricted license. I go, restricted license? What do you mean? I can't drive a manual. I go, you can't because you're no good at it, or what's the deal? He goes, no, they didn't have any manual transmissions when I was training, and since they don't have any and all the trucks are going automatic, they put a restriction on my license that I can't drive a manual transmission. And I was like, wow, I never heard of that before, but yeah, don't go drive a truck if you don't know how to drive a manual. Stay away from it. But that proves my point. People who normally would fail at that or no good at it wouldn't get their license. So now, because of automatics, they're giving people who are incapable of doing that. Well, I'm sure if he learned, he would have been able to, but usually that'll weed the people out. They're not getting weeded out anymore, so I don't know. That's a weird way this fire burnt here. I don't think this is it, but it could be. How could it burn parallel to the highway and not go up the mountain? It did over here, so this must have been where the fire was. She went up right here. There's a bumpy road. Bumpy road, take me home. Well, we'll call this video good for now. So, thanks again for riding shotgun with Mountain Man Mike. Till the next time, enjoy. Peace. I'm stuck behind this guy for a while. Semper Fi, United States Marines. See ya.